This is Robert Morales with the Morales Business Network, and today I'm here with
Pat Gillum with the Sisterhood Extravaganza.
The Morales Business Network was formed to support our entrepreneurs and small businesses through network marketing. So thank you for joining us, and for the next 20 minutes, we're going to be talking to Miss Pat about her business, but more importantly, about who she is. The Morales Business Network, we believe in connecting people via video marketing and exploring the you in your business. So with that said, we like your likes, but
we love your love.
So hit those heart buttons and let that sea of red just swoon right past us. If you like what you're seeing, please comment below and share as you must. And if you're on YouTube right now, hit that subscribe button below, and that bell icon will give you notification of future videos. Miss Pat.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
We're here talking about the Sisterhood Extravaganza. I've heard a lot about you. We've had some discussions, but tell me a little bit from your words what that means to you.
Well, the Sisterhood Extravaganza is a movement. It really is about how we are going to empower women in this generation and beyond to do amazing things that will not only shape our nation, but change our world.
When you talk about this movement, because we were talking a little bit off camera a little bit, tell us a little bit about what that means.
Yeah, so it's going to be really important, Robert. What we found with women is some of the reasons that we as women are not really aspiring to that next level, really understanding our full potential about who we are and what we're purposed to do. And so the Sisterhood is really an organization, a movement to empower women to do just that. Yeah. And so it really is about leadership, it's about connection, it's about collaboration, and more importantly, it's really about rediscovering self-confidence and self-esteem to do some of those things that sometimes we probably thought were never possible for us.
So was there an event in your life that really motivated you to say, you know what, I want to help as many women as I can out. This is something that's meaningful to me. Was there an event like that, or a situation that... Any
type of movement, there always has to be a point of disruption, right? So what is it that we were disrupting? And it really was around the way that we had to dispel some myths that were out there about how we as women would start to show up and to start to celebrate each other, support each other, and most importantly, love on each other. So we made a vow to say not on our watch, and that we as women would be in a position to support other women. And it's so critical now, even as I look 4 years into this, it's about women really being in a position to say, I'm not just your sister, I am you. What affects you affects me. And we really have to band together as women and be in a position to say, how do I support my sister? How do I celebrate her? How do I love on her more so that she knows that she's worthy, she's deserving, and she's more than enough?
There are points of vulnerability that I think is really the first step in anybody kind of opening up and exploring themselves. What do you think the challenges are for women for not, I guess, exposing that vulnerability?
Vulnerability leads us back to saying, who are we? Am I vulnerable enough to really be in a position to discover or rediscover who am I and what I'm purposed to do? See, when you're not really clear about who you are, every woman you see will be a threat to you. Every woman you see, you'll compare yourself to. Every woman you see, you'll think that you need to covet something that you have. And so once you get really vulnerable, like you said, and really be in a position to discover who you are and how amazing you are and the uniqueness that you provide into this world, then we start to disrupt the thinking pattern, the dysfunctional beliefs that we have about ourselves, that we're not pretty enough, we're not thin enough, we're not enough. So therefore, we have to be in competition with one another. We have to be in strife with one another. We have to be in a position to gossip about each other and to be jealous of one another. All those things get dispelled when you really get down to the point of, I know who I am, I know what I'm purposed to do, and I know how I'm supposed to show up and serve in the lives of other people.
In order to have somebody progress further in their life, you also have to cross that bridge yourself.
Absolutely.
What event was it for you that really motivated you in this trajectory, in this path to help?
The whole catalyst behind this sisterhood movement really was the book that I wrote called The Sisterhood, Lessons I've Learned Along the Way About Women and Friendships. And so it was really an opportunity for me to just share my journey about some of the lessons that I've learned around how I needed to be in relationship with other women, whether that was my mother-in-law at the time, my sister-in-law, the female boss that I had, my girlfriends, all of those relationships were really important to me, but there was always some dysfunction underlying in each and every one of them. And so I talk about in the book 5 principles that we as women really need to start mastering so that we can have amazing relationships. When you're a woman and you get married and you now have a mother-in-law and this has been her son, and now you're trying to figure out how do we blend this relationship so that it truly does serve her son, your now new husband, right?
Yeah.
And so there's been a lot of dysfunction that we've been taught about how we need to be in comparison and competition with our mother-in-laws instead of having those amazing relationships, because who's going to better be able to help you understand the man you just married than the woman who helped raise him, right? Yeah. So that's why it's important for us as women to understand who we are so that when we come into relationship with other people, it not only just enhances our lives for the better.
Obviously, people come to you, these women, they see you as this source of strength and this person they go to. Is it hard to always be strong for everybody?
Vulnerability is a must in relationships, in successful relationships. And when you can be vulnerable with people so that people don't hold you on a pedestal, because when people do that, they make you faultless. When you come to people and you're vulnerable and you say, listen, I don't have it all figured out, but every day I'm striving to be my best. I'm not striving for perfection. I'm striving for excellence. And every day I'm striving to be my best.
Yeah.
And so there are some things that I have figured out, but there's some things I'm still working on. And when you can do that and really be vulnerable, people will look at you and they'll say, she's just like us. She's been married. She's gone through a divorce. She was able to bounce back. She's been able to find success after that and happiness. So she's just like us, and not put you on that pedestal where they're thinking you're so strong, yeah, right, that you can endure almost anything without needing the support of other people, because we all need that support no matter where we are in life.
So who do you go to for support?
My source, my first source will always be God for me. God will share with me who are those people here, those angels that he's encamping around me, yeah, so that I can share, my struggles with, right? So I can get the support and the guidance that I need, because the work that we are here to do is so important. We'll never be able to do it by ourselves. We must have a group of people to support the vision that God has given us.
God created the earth in 6 days, and he took a day of rest on the 7th. So it exposes the idea of him being just as fallible as human. Do you think God has somebody, or there's somebody greater than him that he can rely on?
I'm looking at him as like the creator of all of this, right? So that was his purpose at that very time. We're made in his image, so we have so much power that sometimes we don't understand the power that we possess. When he said, let there be light, and there was light. And if you're made in that image, right, of who he is, the words you speak are powerful. The words you speak will manifest what you want in your life. So for me, I think there is a source for him too, right? Yeah, everybody has to have some source to plug into.
Everybody needs somebody to lean on. So.
Yeah.
With that said, we're going to take a small commercial break, and we'll catch you guys in just a few. We are here because we want something different. Hi, my name is Robert Morales. I've explored and tried to figure out the best way to connect with people. It has been a journey all its own. It originally started with a group of friends who just wanted to kind of figure this whole business thing out. But what happened after that was something way different than I think any of us expected. As we put these events together, it is almost like seeing family. We are here to share our experiences, the things that have happened to us, our challenges, but also explore life together. As you'll see, and I believe as you'll experience, this group of people that we've formed is much more than just a business networking group. What it's become is a family, and the true essence of family is where people meet and share each other's lives.
We are the Morales Business Network. Hello.
That is awesome. We're back. We're talking with Miss Pat Gillum of the Sisterhood Extravaganza. Appreciate you hanging in there with us and talking about life and sisterhood and God, even a little bit.
Yeah, I love that.
So much of your work has been geared towards women, and in the past few months, I've been exposed. I got honored, which I appreciate. Thank you. Do you ever kind of explore kind of a male perspective, or at least try to understand that side of it in order to help women out?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because that was one of the very reasons 2 years ago I started the Men Making a Difference in the Community Awards ceremony, because I wanted men to realize that they're a part of our movement. They're a part of the sisterhood movement. As I mentioned to you before, when we talk about us when we're marrying, our husbands, or you're in relationships with men, or you have friends, or you have a brother, it's really important to bring men into this movement, because you are part of our solution. So you have to be in a position to say, how do I empower my sister? How do I empower my mom? How do I empower my wife? And so that's why it's important for us as men and women to really be in a position to work together so that we can have empowered families, right? And lead empowered lives. And so that's what really bringing men into this community is about, is how do we work together to do something great?
In the work that you're doing, what are the issues or challenges that men and women face as they're collaborating, or as they're coming together as a family or as a unit?
Well, I got to tell you again, because this whole Me Too movement has really elevated my level of consciousness about the importance that men have in our lives. And when it comes to having solutions and seeing women as truly problem solvers, seeing us as valuable, that is critical to our success. You seeing that value in what we provide only allows us to build our confidence in a way that inspires us to continue to do great things. So we need that support from you guys. So the conversation has to be really around, how do I support women?
How does a woman request, or how does a woman get that support?
We teach women, because that's what empowerment is really about, having information, knowledge, and tools that are meant to change your life. So when you get information, you're going to be in a position to now ask for what you want. And so that's what we are teaching women. That's what we're helping women understand, that in order to have what you say you desire, you must be in a position to use your courage and ask for what you want, and no longer thinking men are supposed to read our minds, right? Like, you should know. You're a man, you should know what I want. No, men don't know what you want. You must be able to tell them what you want. And you have to be in a position to use your courage to do just that.
We talked a lot about the business. What about in your personal life? Do you want to talk a little bit about your family and kind of how Sisterhood has played a role into supporting you and your family?
I was going through a divorce at the time, so it was those women who were in my community, that were in my circle, that gave me the strength every day to keep going, that gave me the confidence to know that I was going to be okay after this divorce, that there was going to be life after this divorce, and that they would be there to support me through that transition. And so what was given to me, I'm now in a position to give back to someone else, and give back in such a greater way of being able to do that by really gaining clarity about, how do I move forward after the divorce? How do I move forward with clarity and confidence, and the commitment to say, I know that I aspire to have more, be better, and have some amazing support systems around me that have afforded me that opportunity. So
Yeah, and through divorce, I mean, I was there myself too, and there's a lot of things that you can learn from in that experience, and you tend to focus in on the negatives, but is there anything positive that comes out of a divorce?
absolutely. This whole movement, you guys, this movement came out of my divorce, right? If I had not been going through that situation, would I have written that book?
Yeah.
Would this movement have even started? Because remember, I wrote the book as a way for me to journal and release some of the energy and the thoughts that I was feeling around that time, and the relationships that I had with some of those women, and this really started organically, right? So I wrote the book and I did a book release celebration, and the next thing you know, people started coming up saying, when's the next sisterhood event? When's the next sisterhood event? And I'm like, there is no event. I just wrote a book. They were like, no, we need to continue this conversation. We need to keep talking about why it's important for women to support each other, why it's important for us to gain clarity about who we are, increase our self-esteem and our confidence so that we can do great things, we can live out our purpose. We got to keep having these conversations. And so that's how the movement was started, really organically, by people really saying it's our time.
The one thing I learned through my divorce is that I tend to avoid and dismiss my emotions and keep myself busy. Is that something that you experience too? Is this work kind of occupying that space?
There's this level of vulnerability again that you have to have, that you must display to people to let them know that you are human too. When people say things to or about me sometimes that it can be kind of jarring, and you're like, oh wait, wow, but you're human, and so you are allowed to have emotions, but you're not allowed to allow those things that people say about you stop your purpose. It is like, I cannot deal with the emotion of what just happened. Deal with it and move on. That's where the healing starts to happen with a lot of people. And I've had to do a lot of work. I tell people I'm the queen of personal development. Like, I've had so much therapy, which is why I'm starting back going to school. So my biggest thing is I really wanted to go back and really get some of the practical curriculum around helping people heal from past trauma, helping people heal from some things that are really holding them back. Because I can tell you right now, if you don't address the thing that's holding you back, we always say that dis-ease will create disease in your body. And so you have to be able to heal from whatever that thing was. If it was something that you experienced in your divorce, good or bad, you got to be able to do that. So for me, I don't use work as an avoidance. I don't use the work that I do as an avoidance. I use that really as sort of my healing process. When I see other women really not being able to support other women, I've been there. So I can help them through it. I can give them tools and techniques on how.
And I think you mentioned that you need to deal with it and move on. Any advice or any way or suggestion that people can deal with it, per se?
I think we've all experienced some level of trauma in our lives, right? And so depending on the level of trauma that you experience is going to depend on what's going to be the best course of action for you to take when it comes to the process of healing. So people have had death, right? So grief, they say have 7 stages, right? And so that's how healing really ends up sometimes for people. It depends on where they are, what type of trauma has happened, and what type of healing they need, and that process that needs to happen for them. So for me, the work that I do, it is a sense of healing for me because I get to give back in such a bigger way. I get to really show women how amazing they are. I get to show women how their purpose for something so much more, that they truly can have anything that they say they want. But we got to get rid of some of these self-limiting beliefs that we've been taught. We have to be in a position to dispel myths that are out there about us and who we say we are. And the biggest thing is we got to get our mindset right and get rid of that chatter that tells us that we're not enough, we're not beautiful, we're not worthy. And so the minute we can overcome some of those challenges and heal from some of that stuff, the better off we're going to be.
That's actually a lot of our time. And every time I get these conversations, it's hard to get it all encapsulated in just a short amount of time. But the Sisterhood Extravaganza, The best way that people can get a hold of you?
Go to sisterhoodextravaganza.org and you will find a plethora of information about this organization.
Is there a phone number they can get a hold of you to?
623-455-2117. You can definitely give us a call or a text at that number, but the best way you're going to get information is to really go on to the website. But we want you to be a part of this community. We want to be that support system for you.
Well, with that said, Robert Morales, Morales Business Network. We'll catch you guys soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
If you like this video, hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon to receive notification of future videos. Thanks for watching.